Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Friday the 13th of April and maybe we're getting the Friday the 13th bug here, the curse. So we need 2 victories with Druid and Hunter. We've tried the HS Replay Druid and Hunter decks and we're not really succeeding there. So I was thinking, what if we were to just make Druid and then classic Druid, like play the most basic cards that you could play right now. I don't even have all of these cards, and why is that? It's just because this account is not old enough. Man, you cannot play Hearthstone, like you really can't without these days, without putting a lot of money into it. There's no good starting point. So this one is choose one, do 2 damage or silence a minion. I'll take this, and I'll take this, and I'll replace this with that and take that. And the cards it suggests I don't think are right either. Anyways, so there's close to the classic Druid recipe. And let's see if we can do classic Hunter recipe. No, I'm missing 4 cards on that too. So we'll take that. Excuse me. We'll take this. I'll take this. And I guess we'll take this instead. And let's try this. So come over here, classic Druid, and play. I got rid of all of my decks. I could go pull them back out, I suppose. But I'm really going to have to think here and try and find something that wins. Or we're just taking a big step to me just rage quitting Hearthstone. Like, or maybe just rage quitting doing the Asian and European accounts. But see, the problem with that is if I rage quit any of this, I don't get the gold. Then I don't do the card pack opening. The card pack opening got a lot of views. The deck rebuild videos and the re-uploads, broken up portions of that will get a lot of views. So, like, this effectively is the biggest example of me selling out, is playing Hearthstone. But I am spending a lot of time and effort selling out when I'm not having a great experience with victories. Alright, moving on to the next story. Rock Paper Shotgun has a story. The Sandbox spinoff of Terraria, Terraria Otherworld, has been cancelled. So it was unveiled 3 years. It promised a more adventure-focused spin-off of platforming building of the platforming building sandbox mega hit Terraria. I almost certainly could have seen this coming. Like the reason why Minecraft doesn't really have a story mode in it, excluding the Telltale game Minecraft story mode, which is not Minecraft at all, is because if they had tried to put a story mode in it, even 2 or 3 years into its popularity, people wouldn't have been around enough to justify selling another copy of Minecraft. So instead, Minecraft has done the very correct thing, in my opinion, which is to simply just add more features. I don't think I'll probably ever play either Terrarias. Well, probably never or Otherworld because it's not available. But like the 2D equivalent of Minecraft doesn't seem like it's something that would interest me. Let's go ahead and kill this one. Let's move on to the next article. Unreal Engine has an article about how Gunpowder Game incorporated Unreal Engine marketplace assets into the Maelstrom. Notice this title is incorporated Unreal Engine marketplace assets into Maelstrom, because the last thing they want to do is remind you what they're effectively saying is how Gunpowder Games asset flipped assets into Maelstrom. Although the flip part of asset flip is the assumption and the implication that the creator didn't put effort to make sure the assets that they were working with were integrated in a smooth and nice way. Maelstrom, on the other hand, does not look like an asset flip. It looks like it is let's see, it is done correctly, and that's what this article is there's a paragraph here that says get the right assets to fit your visual style, make sure it fits, be critical, read reviews, post reviews, modify and make assets your own, create original art, and when you do that you have something that looks unique and professional and not just a bunch of example things that are not that don't have any effort done to them at all. Moving on to the next article, Gamatsu has record of the Lotus World 2D side-scrolling action game announced for PC. From the studio behind Shin Megami Tensei Synchronicity Prologue. Man, that's a mouthful. So let's look at this trailer. Hey, I think it's the 30th year anniversary of Record of the Lotus War, and we know that there's another Record of the Lotus War game coming out. So let's see if I do this, and then this, and then kill this, then that, and then the turn, that should be fine. So yeah, it looks like a Ghost and Goblins type game, you know, beat 'em up slasher type with a little bit of platforming, a little bit of collectibles. Yeah, it honestly doesn't look like this game is going to be super interesting or even really that good, but no release date is set. This video I just said is labeled as a work in progress gameplay video, but I mean, I wouldn't have released that video. It doesn't look good enough, and they just keep silencing. Well, let's see if we win. Interesting. First victory is from this, so we'll keep our victories. Since that won, we'll keep on playing with it. Yeah. Next game we have on Steam is called Twilight of Yulestead, and it is from a developer who has released 3 other games. It's 5% off for $9.49. 5% off as on a discount is pretty low. It came out April 13th. Now the problem with this graphics that makes it look like an asset flip is it's just a low like I use the phrase low polygon a lot. I'm not sure if I want to call this low polygon. This is more a very rounded artistic style where like everything is got a smooth pass fixture on it. Looks like it might be a dungeon crawler. Looks like it's an attempt to be some kind of dungeon crawler game. But man, does it not look good. It just does not look visually good. No reviews and no surprise there. So yeah, I wouldn't play Twilight on Yulstead. Hey, well maybe that's the trick to... Maybe the trick to getting victories is just to stall at the beginning. So now we need a Priest and Warlock deck, and these are the hsreplay.net recommended decks, or at least as close as I could get to them. So let's see if these win. I already talked about the Bioshock rumor of a new Bioshock game. We know there is a new 2K studio that was starting up in California because we saw job listings for it. Apparently this game is codenamed Parkside and it's being developed on the Unreal Engine 4, which I'm not sure if the previous Bioshock games were in the Unreal Engine or not. So that would be a little bit interesting to go about if it goes through an engine change. What does Parkside mean? I wonder if that's supposed to be an implication. It usually isn't at all. Let's see. Like, I would wonder if you're not going to set a new Bioshock in Rapture, you maybe set it on land in just a city somewhere, and you get rid of the crazy city element. Silence a minion? No, I don't see a reason to do that. Let's see. Next article we have is the Gamma Sutra article. Hellblade wins big at the 2018 BAFTA as Edith Finch takes the top honor. So I wanted to get all of the winners here. Let's see. British Academy Games Award winners. Let's see. The winner for Fellowship was Tim Schafer. I don't know what that really means. Fellowship? Like, he ate with people? That's what fellowship means. He was friendly with people, maybe? Like it's probably something like a Lifetime Achievement Award or something. Anyways, Artistic Achievement goes to Hellblade. Audio Achievement goes to Hellblade. Best Game is What Remained of Edith Finch. A best British Game goes to Hellblade. Oh, so since this is the British Academy of Arts and Festivals, they're going to specifically prioritize their British games over other people's games. That's xenophobic and wrong. Debut game Gorgoa, evolving game Overwatch, family doesn't say family game, it just says families. Super Mario Odyssey, Gaming Beyond Entertainment goes to Hellblade, game design Mario Odyssey, game innovation Legend of Zelda, mobile game Golf Clash, multiplayer Divinity Original Sin 2, music goes to Cuphead, so Cuphead gets one thing. Narrative goes to Night in the Woods, original property goes to Horizon Zero Dawn, and performer goes to Melina Jurgens as Suna in Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. So they really loved really loved the Hellblade. So yeah, The problem with an award like this, an award show like this, where you're just giving out 12 awards, and in this instance, they're not even giving runner-ups, you're not mentioning enough games at all. Like these were all games released in 2017, and there could have been at least a first runner-up, second runner-up, fourth place, fifth place. There could have been some categories. There could have been some honorable mentions. And when you have an instance like this where the one game so dominates people's attention, you then start to lose out on anything. Lose out on being interesting because every award is going to the same people over and over again. War Child's replay Steam sale is on again. This is War Child UK is a charity behind video game initiatives such as the Verdun Christmas Run, Truce DLC, and This War of Mine, The Little Ones, and US-based Children of Conflict. They've launched a new program aimed at raising money. It's kind of weird to have a charity working with Steam to make a Steam sale. Let's see. Games like XCOM, UFO Defense, XCOM Enemy Unknown, Civ 3, Civ 5, Worms WMD, Psychonaut Broken Age, Ollie Ollie 2, and Sid Meier's Pirates are all on sale. Let's see if we click here. Is there anything else on sale, or was that everything? No, that's everything. They're 75% off, except for Worms, which is 85% off. So if you don't have Worms, or if you did want Civ 5 complete for 91% off, which would still be $12.70, you could do that. It's probably bad for business, but I would like to see Steam just surprise people with sales. It's like, surprise, your product is on sale, because that's kind of how it happens in stores. Half the time at least, is something is not selling well. It's sitting on shelves. The actual store wants to get rid of it, and because they're losing money is with it sitting on the shelves. Therefore, they just put it on sale. And the original creator of that product is like, oh, well, I didn't know about that. Or I don't really care about that. I've already sold it to the store, so I've got my cut. But because video games are digital goods, it seems like there's more control on the part of the developer and publisher of a game than you probably should have. Now you might be asking, why is it a bad thing for the publisher to be able to schedule, plan, and have a sale selling their own game? It's a bad thing in Steam's case because Valve is not doing its due diligence, frankly, to make sure that people aren't raising the prices of their games, then putting them on sale and actually selling them on sale, quote unquote, for more than they've actually were available previously. And so they're just lying about a sale being on there. And there are some regulations as far as stores to not allow things to be labeled as on sale when they've are actually not on sale. But Steam isn't really regulated that much, and they're even in the real world there's a lot of schemes around that. Like, oops. So this is this card at its best. Yeah, you can probably get away with running a store where you just put like red stickers on half your products and blue stickers on half your products, and then you could say 1 week everything with a blue sticker is on sale 10% off, and then the next week everything with the red sticker is on sale, and then for half of the 52 weeks that it happened in a year, you can have half your inventory always on sale, and that will trick a lot of people into coming in and purchasing something. Just getting them into the store is a major victory for most stores. But that really doesn't have too much to do with video games. Next game we have on Steam is called Cyber Fight. It's from a developer who has made several ugly looking games. It's 40% off for 59 cents. Came out April 12th. Has a 1 review. Let's see. It has an 8-bit looking graphics, and that's not really the problem. The problem with it seems like it is a floaty, poorly controlling, like infinite runner, I would maybe call it. You run and you jump, and that seems like all you do, and collect coins. All-time peak of 3 people according to Steam database. So no victory there. Let's try the Zoo Warlock. Let's see what the 1 review is. It's probably not in English. Like 1 Russian review, several Russian reviews that are positive, 1 negative. Yeah, it just doesn't look like a high enough quality game to even spend 60 cents on. Which is odd saying that, because Cyberfight does, at the very least, have a fully animated background. So somebody drew a background and put some effort into it. A little bit more effort than normal. But it's still not good enough. It still doesn't look good enough to be on sale. Next game we have is called Vandals. I think we've already looked at this game. It's $4.99. Is this the puzzle strategy game where you're sneaking around trying to spray paint things? Yes, it is. So it came out yesterday, April 12th. And yeah, it looks like Hitman Go in every way that I don't like Hitman Go. So, like, I in all honesty, I might have liked Vandals if it weren't for what Hitman Go did to me, as that's such a bad experience. Let's look at the reviews. $4.99 is too much. There's a couple of positive reviews, and that's all they have. It says it's rated E for everyone. And see, PC Gamer, I'm pretty sure covered this game. So I guess I just want to close Vandals and see if it gets some attention away from PC Gamer. Like if some other reviewer site decides that it is worth covering, then I'll come back to it. But yeah, I want to just kind of hold back on that one. I'm certainly not going to shed any tears if I never get around to playing Vandals. It's a shame it's not a Jet Set Radio game. That's the main issue. Alright, Rock Paper Shotgun has an article that GTA 4 is removing some soundtrack songs because they lost the license, which let's see, is crazy. They are going to shuffle in some new songs to replace at least some of them. So probably expect a new patch to cut the old and whack in the new. The Russian pop station Vladivostok FM will take the brunt of the cuts, which will also affect GTA's 4 episodes from Liberty City standalone things. And see, that's always the crazy thing, is like, why don't they have a lifetime license for these songs? Like, I did not play that right. Why are we having to put out patches to remove music? Like, our copyright laws are ridiculous. And interesting, this rock paper shotgun had to put a disclosure at the bottom. Disclosure: I know several folks who worked on GTA 4, including my own flatmate and former RPS columnist. So somebody who worked for rock paper shotgun also worked on video games. Like, nepotism always seems to happen in the video game industry, in the video game review industry. Let's see. I know she also voiced some random crowd lines, but I never heard her. She's out there somewhere in Liberty City. That's the rest of the disclaimer. That's barely a disclaimer, in as much as it is just a rambling comment. Alright, moving on. We have a game called Killer Backflipped 5 from a developer who made Stickman Backflip Killer Zone and Spaceman Adventure Dash and CE Edges. 40% off for 59 cents. It is a Stickman game, and kind of like RPG Maker games, Stickman games are... this one looks like a mobile port too. Let's see, let's give it +2/+2 and play this. Just draw more cards. I wonder if I should just kill this guy in case he has a bunch of spells that could buff that character. Like, I can't justify buying a Stickman game ever. I really can't. It just, from the word go, feels like you're planning on making a low effort game, and this looks like a low effort PC port of a mobile game, and giving it a cynical name like Killer Backflip 5 when there isn't Killer Backflip 1 through 4 does not help your argument that it doesn't help the thought that maybe this one Stickman game is the exceptional Stickman game. Moving on to the next article, Gamma Sutra has an article. For the first time, third-party developers have released games for Tencent's WeChat platform. So Tencent has opened the mini game platform housed within its WeChat chat app open to external developers. I suppose this is the equivalent of when Facebook got games. WeChat is sort of the one that is endorsed, I think, by the Chinese government. Tencent is in part, I believe, owned by the Chinese government, so they're certainly trying to make it a popular platform so people can use it, so then the Chinese government can spy on everybody using it. It really is that simple. Like, there's, I mean, I'm not even gonna try and justify or throw a softball there. That's really what it is. And I'm sure WeChat is, in at least some small part, a ripoff of like Facebook Messenger and other things. There was this game that was announced a while ago. In fact, quite a while, which points out some of the weirdness of seeing some of these articles about games, is because you'll see a screenshot, an announcement of a game, and then 3-4 months later you'll get the release date, and then 3-4 months later after that you'll get the game out, or you'll get another trailer. So there was this game that Eurogamer is describing as attractive anime adventure, Forgotten Anne, now has a release date. The game is called Forgotten Anne. It will launch the 15th of May for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, priced at £15.49 on Steam, or £16 on console. This is Eurogamer, so they're not writing it down as US dollars. Now, it is true that Forgotten Anne looks like it is a well animated, sort of Ghibli-esque, early Ghibli-esque animations, not his later stuff. So you're talking what am I trying to think of? Some of the, well, maybe Porco Rosso era, the one before Porco Rosso, or right after Porco Rosso, if I had them in order. It's been a long time since I've looked at the movieology bibliography of Ghibli. One of the animators for Studio Ghibli died recently. It wasn't very video game related though, so I don't think I looked at that. Miyazaki, maybe it's not Ghibli as much as it's Miyazaki animation too. I could be getting that wrong too. Lapsed anime fan, not able to remember the terms. Anyways, Forgotten Anne looks interesting, is the simple thing. It has a release date, doesn't have a Steam page, not according to anything I can find though, so I'll see if I can wishlist it on Steam. It looks like it'll be an interesting, I think it's mostly a point and click type adventure game. I imagine a lot of people have this chance in which they will get really hyped about Forgotten Anne and then decide that actually it's not the game for them, and that'll turn into some weirdness. Next game we have is a real weird game, and wow, is it weird. It's selling for $595.99. It came out April 12th, and it has obviously no reviews. It is called ADR-labeling game. ADR labeling game, let's read the description, teaches the players the basics of marking dangerous goods transport vehicles. Players can either place the markings on pre-made cargo or load the vehicles themselves. Once the cargo has been selected, the player is tasked to place all the correct orange plates and ADR labels on the vehicle. So, what they're talking about is all the stickers that you would see on the sides of big shipping trucks. You're not driving the trucks, you're just labeling the trucks. And you're being asked to fix this. So this feels like it could have been a testing like software that's been turned into a game And that certainly would explain the incredibly high price in which they're asking for you to pay, is if this was some kind of testing software. I wouldn't be surprised if this was to get you towards a commercial driving's license, where some testing center would pay $500 to have a copy of the software and have people play it to learn and be educated, or some vocational school. But why in the world is this on Steam? Let's see. There's a recent update, Steam version clarification. Steam version of ADR labor gain is meant for educational use by institutes and schools, and purchasing this version grants the right to use the software in their education. If you're using ADR labeling for your personal use, we recommend getting the Android or iOS version. I wonder if the Android or iOS version is cheaper. Let's take a moment to look, since I have a phone right next to me. Let's see. Alright, Google Play Store. ADR labeling. And this is from some really here it is. So if you were to buy this game on the cell phone, which this is just the exact same game that's on Steam, so it is just a cell phone port, but I could certainly understand why this would not, why you wouldn't be able to, in a school environment, particularly have people playing games on their cell phones. That sort of makes sense. Let's do this. And then let's see. Oops, lost. Anyway, so ADR labeling game, $6.49 on Steam, on Google Play. $500 on Steam. Why does Steam even allow that? Why do they even allow that? Like, what kind of school would say you can have a Steam account? That's the weird part. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all. It's like, you're running a classroom, you're running a vocational school. This would be for people getting their commercial driver's license, so it would have to be somebody who already has a regular driver's license, so at least 18 years old. Why are you buying your educational software through Steam? I'll be surprised if very many people buy this on Steam. This is ridiculous. Like, really, really ridiculous. Like, it really feels like they were just rolling the dice and saying, hey, maybe we'll get one person. If one person buys that game for $500, it's recovered the $100 Steam direct fee. Even if Valve is taking 30% off of that. So $150 out of that $500, let's say, is going directly to Valve for their 30% cut. That's still $350 of profit, minus the $100 of the Steam Direct fee. with also any amount of, which you then also would take off like the cost to port it, which may have been nothing, frankly. Moving on, this is a game that is getting too much coverage. He's the creator of the game, apparently is friends with a lot of video game reviewers, and this is their only game on Valve. Spy Party is the name of the game. Came out the 12th. It's rated positively, 93% of 32 users. It's been in development, from what I understand, for 8 years. So, really long time. Really, really long time to be in development. Particularly when you consider that this looks like it is a bunch of Unity characters. Like, maybe these are original animated characters, but they don't look good regardless. Looks like something that would have looked good in the early 90s. So, like, not 8 years ago, but 18 to 28 years ago, even. Let's destroy this. And double minions health. And attack. The main gist of Spy Party, which has had an all-time peak of 307, which is a good number, but it's a necessary number because it's only online multiplayer. It's also early access, and it's no discount for $24.99, which is really expensive. The main gist of Spy Party, though, is the fact that you have one player playing as a spy and one player playing as a spotter, and so one player is trying to figure out who the spy character is amongst a group of artificial intelligent characters that are wandering around in a scene. The reason this game is probably getting so much coverage is because they've been bringing it to PAX. They have like a secret final game of the Omegathon PAX 2013, Independent Games Festival 2011. So they've been taking it places and showing people it. One early access review here is not worth the price at the moment. Might be worth checking out on a sale, or if they decide to drop the price a bit. A lot of these early access reviews are like suspiciously short. Like one is positive. It's basically Hitman PvP, player versus player. That is, I guess, a decent definition or description of it. But honestly, Spy Party does not look interesting to me at all. But people are talking about it, and people, I imagine, will talk about it some more. It's funny, this Friday is going to go long, but we might just move it to a post show, come to think of it, because like if I covered all the news that I have left to cover, because I took some of the news out, which I didn't think that was going to be a bad thing or bite me in the butt, but it seems like it might. Yeah, we might just have some post show. Moving on to the next article, PC Gamer has an article. CCP Games CEO says he's a big believer in VR despite halting VR development. CCP Games announced last year they were laying off nearly 100 employees and shuttering its VR development. That's not a big developer. What is CCP? It's Eve Valkyrie. Yeah, it's Eve Online. That's what CCP is. Yeah. Just go and destroy this, And this. And then in the turn, I guess. So, you really couldn't do much more of a non-article than to write an article quoting somebody saying something that is blatantly, obviously, like, provably false. It's like, you can, I guess, you can dance around the idea and say you're a big believer in something while meanwhile shutting down your own division in VR. But it doesn't have credibility and doesn't have any reason to be written. Speaking of not having credibility, like the Eugene developers, what is it? The developers at Eugene Systems have ceased their strike after negotiations with management came to a standstill. And that's not what you ever do. So, one of the problems with this strike and why it was not in a good position in the first place is the fact that it was kickstarting their strike. So, like, they didn't have enough of a strike fund. A good union, a smart union, would not go on strike unless they had at least 6 months or longer to pay the people who are on strike to not work. At least some reduced amount of money. Often it's like, we'll pay you 2/3 of your paycheck and will require you to stand out with strike picket signs for 2 hours or 4 hours a day. So it's not like it's a pretty good deal to be on strike, but it's not your end goal. Certainly, the end goal is to get the management to work with you. And in a weird way, they're also suing the people. So, like, the lawsuit is still going on, but they, so you're just in a rather strange scenario. Like, so the strike started, when 21 of the 44 employees walked out, so half of the employees didn't even go on strike. So that's a problem right there. Just a really badly handled strike. I've never seen a strike handled this poorly at all. But I guess we're not going to really get much more news about this. And their claims against the management was that they weren't negotiating, that they weren't following just basic legally required minimum labor laws, they weren't honoring contracts that they had already agreed to. So it seems like the company is bad. And frankly, if you end a strike like this, you might as well just quit. Because you're all going to get laid off. You're all going to get fired. Like, strike is your movement of last resort. And yeah, you might as well never come back to work. Management isn't just going to conveniently forget that. I need one card that would do 2 damage, or I'm gonna lose. I guess I should have given this one +2 health, then I could have silenced it. Another Friday the 13th game has come out. Friday the 13th Killer Puzzle. Your Gamer has a surprisingly a review. They say it's a surprisingly cute horror show, and then it has this new label, Your Gamer Recommended, with Your Gamer's new website, which looks awful. It's just got tons of white space everywhere. It is an isometric, like square-based, tile-based game, best I can tell, and so it's probably going to be a little bit like Hitman Go again, but maybe I would try it. It feels like this Friday the 13th game only came out and probably was rushed out to coincide with the Friday the 13th, which I believe in 2018 we're going to have 2 Friday the 13th, which doesn't happen that often. We may even have 3. I'm still not a big fan of the Friday the 13th movie series over some of the other horror movie series, so. But it looks like it's a fine game. I'll put it on my wish list. Next article we have Gematsu Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for Switch. Has a trailer. So we're going to get a new Donkey Kong game, which is good because it's been a while. This is the standard Donkey Kong Country style of gameplay where you have 2 characters usually, Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong or something like that, and you're running through levels trying to solve things, get from the left of the screen to the right of the screen, collect collectibles. Seems like there's some kind of ice creature that is decided like it's going to freeze some of the lands, and so some of the levels are frozen, but there's also some lava lands and desert beach lands, just jungle areas. Yep, it looks like Donkey Kong Country. I've actually never played any of the Donkey Kong Country games, come to think of it, so it wouldn't be a bad experience for me to play something like that, but I won't get around to it because it's on the Switch and it's Nintendo. I'm sort of conflicted on what you do with Donkey Kong anyways. Rare turned Donkey Kong into the Donkey Kong Country style of games, which are general platformers and just more Mario style games without Mario, with a little bit of a spin to it. The Donkey Kong 64 game, which was the open world game, never really went any further than that. They haven't made any more of those, and it would be kind of silly for them to make a Donkey Kong arcade game like the original Donkey Kong games. So he kind of just ends up being the Donkey Kong crew in general, ends up being characters in, Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, these beloved characters that don't work that often. And anything Kong can exist, so you can always make more Donkey Kong characters. Let's hit all of this. Next game we have on Steam is called Germination. Came out the 13th. Let's see, it's 15% off for $3.39. I'm not really liking the split developer credits that people have started doing. This has that pixely style in its animation, which makes it not visually appealing. Like, it looks like it's a good pixely style, but now I've seen so many bad games that look like that I'm kind of immediately taking the assumption that, let's see, if I do this, I can do this. Yep. 2D pixel graphics comes up to me and just looks like it's bad graphics now. I've just had to raise my standards. All-time peak of 6 players playing it. Negative reviews. There's 8 positive reviews, no negative ones. They're all early access or got the product for free. 7 Steam achievements. And see, the thing about Germination is it looks like it is a fine game that if you were to put on itch, it might be a super successful game there. But that when you look at it against 3D graphics, $60 games, and just a vast amount of junk, I can't justify $3.39 to buy something that could potentially be only 20 minutes long, even if it is polished visually. So yeah, I have to skip Germination. Let's see. There's a game called Gensokyo Defenders for the PlayStation 4 that's going to launch May 1st in Japan. It looks like it is... What kind of game is this? It's a Toho Project fan game from Nepia. You control... Let's see, it's an action tower defense game. It'll sell for 2,160 yen. It probably isn't coming to the West. So let's close that tab. The Sega FES 2018 is teasing a very big announcement. There is rumors that Sega is sort of going to try and re-enter the hardware market by selling like a Sega Genesis Master System Mini. I don't think they're coming out with something that would be the Sega PlayStation 5 equivalent or anything like that. Unless maybe Sega is working with Sony to make the PlayStation 5, and I don't see a reason that Sony would agree to that. Otherwise, I would heavily suspect Sega is hyping up this announcement for nothing at all. It's going to run, the live stream is going to run from 11 to 1900 or 7 p.m. Japanese Standard Time, April 14th. Which, like, you'd probably have to translate that, but US time, it's probably about 8 hours difference. So late, 2 or 3 in the morning would probably be somewhere in the middle of the live stream. So I am definitely not going to be up watching that. I doubt it's going to be worth the effort. It's also going to stream 11 to 1800 Japanese Standard Time on the 15th. Let's see. There's going to be several performances that are listed in the schedule. And let me just scroll down this way and see if any of them look like they would be anything interesting. Remember, Sega runs a lot of, like, Sega owns almost all of the arcades in Japan, so a ton of the announcements could be games and actual arcade games that just don't show up. Like 1800 to 1830, Persona 3 Dancing Moon Night, Persona 5 Dancing Star Night is the last thing before the ending on one stage. They're gonna have a Puyo Puyo Championship, which is a Tetris game that's pretty popular. Shin Megami Tetris. Seems like people are just going to be playing games and live streaming in a couple of the booths. But they're not playing new games, they're playing old Sega games. Which, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Valkyrie Chronicles 4 on one stage. Yeah, there's gonna be nothing at this for the Western audience. It's barely gonna be interesting to anybody but the biggest of Sega fanboys ever. And I know there are a lot of them still out there, but that's not as big of enough of a number as it should be. Alright, if I give this guy +2/+2 and then +4/+4, maybe, just maybe, I could survive. PC Gamer has a article, the best spy games on PC. Let's go through this. Alpha Protocol, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, No One Lives Forever, Spy Party getting on that list way too early, Invisible Ink, I didn't even think that was that good. Covert Action, interesting game. KGB, looks like that might be an interesting game, maybe not. Gunpoint, Metal Gear Solid, I mean seriously, are you calling that a spy game? I guess it is. And then Neon Strut. And so this really is just a list so that they can advertise Spy Party yet again. Alright. 4 damage, discard a random card. Let's see. Alright, next game we have on Steam is called AI Escort. It's mixed with 62 of 24 user reviews. Came out the 12th, but the fact that it has any user reviews is interesting. It's from a developer who's made several games, but none of them are rated very well at all. It's a visual novel, and it may not have English in it. It does have English, okay. Like, it says it has nudity, it's a RPG Maker game, and my rule against RPG makers still stand. 40% off for $1.19. And let's see. If we look at the negative ones, there's a long review. Here, just take one sentence out of this negative review. Again, how can you enjoy it when it's filled with grammatical errors, typos, stuff like sentences without spacing, example this, unskipped name sentences like Murasaki Gentleman, a short mediocre story, especially when the original cost $12, where short 1-2 hour games with no redeeming quality usually get priced at this point. Let's see. Deal damage to a minion. Oops. So yeah, a bad visual novel RPG Maker game on Steam. How original. Next game we have is called Melancholy Republic. It is the first game on Steam from this developer for $9.99. I almost won there, so I'm going to try that again. Although, we do need, this will be our last game. It has one user review, came out the 11th. It looks like an RPG Maker game. It says it's story rich and cinematic. I don't know how you can claim to be cinematic when you have an RPG Maker game. All-time peak of 7 people on here. Let's see, are there any negative reviews? No, there are 2 positive reviews, but I wouldn't give that too much of too much of credit, because it really doesn't mean anything. So yeah, another RPG Maker game that I cannot endorse. What's funny here is one of the recommended games on Steam's terrible. If you like this game, maybe you'll like this game, and then they recommend something completely different that doesn't match at all. But one of the recommended games is D4 Dark Dreams Don't Die Season 1. Season 1 was never finished, and because of that, it is mixed with 61% of the 13 reviewers being positive. I would much prefer to play a crazy unfinished game like D4, made by, I believe, Suda51 or somebody like that. One of the several Japanese crazy game creators. Let's see. Like the recommended review for D4 is a worthy adventure, warning, second part of the game not available. Like, everybody knows it's not, or everybody should know it's an unfinished game. Maybe that is the new tag that Steam should put on games, is unfinished game by knowing. Buyer beware. Let's see. Next game we have on Steam is called Zig, Z-I-G. It's $5.99. Terrible name. Pretty bad graphics. It looks like a student project of just flying around shooting asteroids with a lot of different colored elements. Doesn't look like anybody has ever played it. It has no reviews. No real surprise there. Yeah, it looks like a fast-paced asteroid-esque game with MS Paint graphics for all the elements. Which we see a game like that almost every week. Like, it's pretty consistent. Let's see. PC Gamer has an article. Thrones of Britannia lets you arrange divorce and murder untrustworthy allies. So, Thrones of Britannia, it looks like it's a strategy game with a lot of buttons and a lot of options, which is probably too much for me. These empire management games. Let's see. Let's see. Total War Saga is the real name. Total War Saga: Thrones of Britannia is due May 3rd, 2018. So it's not out yet. So this article is kind of pointless. Next game we have is called Startup Freak. It is the only game by this developer on Steam. 17% off for $9.95. I feel like this is going to be a startup simulator game. The graphics don't look good. They're pixel art mixed with MS Paint. So zoomed out MS Paint things. There's graphics here, they just do not look good, but there's also a lot of minions and simulations. It has an all-time peak of 43 people, so somebody somewhere is actually playing it. Let's see, this, and this, and then this, 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 this. We gotta just end the turn here. Let's see, 12 Steam achievements, early access. It says it's beta 0.7.0. We have 1 negative review and 5 positive ones. It says the negative review says fun and rather simple build. Feels like a clicker game with fewer things to do. I would say there's about 4 to 6 hours of gameplay, but beyond that it's very repetitive. There are 3 goals set for you to reach, and it takes you about 1 hour to do so. After that it's just skipping turns and waiting. There are 3 difficulties. I'd recommend you start on easy one and then normal and then hardest, just to get a small amount of replayability. Overall, it's a decent game, just don't expect more than 6 hours. So if you go for the 8 to 9 euro to waste to spend, I would do so. Yeah, so $10 for a 6 to 9 hour game that doesn't look appealing to me. I think Startup Freak is an easy skip, even though it certainly doesn't look as bad as some games. Next we have a game called Armor Contest, which, is this in English? Says it's in English, but it's also simplified Chinese. It seems like this is an asset flip. If I was to guess, it definitely feels like this is an asset flip. Can I kill this in any way? No. I guess I could do this. Let's go ahead and play this and attack here, and then the turn. Yeah, this looks like an asset flip of tank games. It says indie simulation. It seems like you're just driving tanks around. And if there was a really good, high quality tank game from a company I trusted, I might play a tank game. Like, sounds like it would be fun. That being said, I'd almost certainly... This tank is raising the Chinese flag, by the way. This is just straight up propaganda, I bet. Yeah, the thing that's gonna kill it is gonna be just bad graphics. Like, maybe instead I should play there's like a Japanese tank fighting monsters and giant mechs game. I think maybe something like that, or there's some RPGs from Japan that are not as crazy as that one. Also, yeah, this is propaganda / troll game. Armor Contest. I would not recommend anybody buy it. It's too expensive anyways. It doesn't look that good. Can we play both of these, or can we get past one of these guys and just charge? One more damage needed. Sure. So if he's got a spell that does 10 damage, I've lost. But if he doesn't, well, okay. The creators of Reigns have a Reigns King and Queen bundle on sale, 63% off. Now, this also includes the soundtrack, the companion book, the interactive original soundtrack, Her Majesty's soundtrack, and the Book of the Lady. So each one of those little DLC things that you may never have purchased adds to the price of the bundle to the point where it's, without me logging in, $4.84 to get the 2 Reigns games. Because I already own Reigns, it would knock off $1.49 of that and probably nothing else. And so that it's probably not even a good sale for anybody. One of my fans was suggesting that I play Shovel Knight, so in a coincidence, PC Gamer has an article saying Shovel Knight has sold 2 million copies, most of the sales on PC, but most of the revenue coming from the Switch, which is to say the Nintendo is giving a better cut to Switch users. So I'm going to have to make an executive decision here. It's going to take forever to get 4 more victories. Yeah, it's going to take forever. So I'm going to have to post-show this, or silent post-show this, or I might not even do a silent post-show. I might instead just play by myself, since we've had so much streaming anyways. I guess it really doesn't matter if I silent post-show or not. I might even play tomorrow by myself. Because meanwhile, we've had 2 recordings now just on the Asian account. We've made no progress whatsoever on the European account, so we need to go over to that. And we also need to, at some point, at least get 1 daily quest done on the Americas account. So it's turning into a rather long day. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. When you do subscribe, click that notification bell. If you want to support me even further than doing all of that, gift me a game on Steam. That helps quite a bit. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.